Hi guys, I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to share a story with you that happened to me on May 16th of 2020. I was sleeping, I think it was a Sunday morning, either Saturday or Sunday, and I was woken up to a very loud sound bang at my window, and I happen to live on the fourth floor. And as you know, I am a targeted individual ever since I went to the Celeb Center back in 2005, 2006 at the Church of Scientology. And I've had Patty Babber outside my house with two other members I can only point out online. I don't know their names. And a PI, which I later found out was a PI because aside from getting stalked that day by them and a group of people, ferociously stalked. Adults, people of all ages, backgrounds. I had moved to El Segundo. I was living on Imperial Highway, right up the street from the beach, and the same PI had parked, I heard a noise at my window, had parked his car across the street from my house and was sitting there looking into my door. I had a screen door. The screen door was ajar a little bit. He would just sit there every day and park and stare at my house and see me come and go. Police did nothing. Okay, so police let this go on 24 hours a day. So nonetheless, not only was that going on now, I would get them, make comments to me like, oh, what's wrong? Like for instance, if I was walking, a group of like you would just get a group of people just like on your ass. And they would make I would look back and they would make comments. They would be like, oh, what's wrong? Are you getting tailgated? And then I would wait and I would ask, I'd be like, oh, you're a Scientologist, right? You're a Scientologist? They're like, yeah, yeah. And sometimes I ask, oh, you're doing Fairgame? And they go, yeah. They're very, very, very proud of it. Very proud of it. I was even told on one occasion in Westwood, I tried going to grab a bite to eat at Sansai, a Japanese kind of fast food place. And when I went there, you have a group of people that follow you. And while you're doing whatever you're doing, when you're about to leave, they leave when you leave. Wherever you're going, they're leaving with you. But as they were leaving with me, this gentleman or guy, I was like, you guys really, this is too much. Like, I can't even go eat in a restaurant. And he said, well, you either join or accidents are going to happen, quote unquote. So, and again, you have law enforcement that backs this up for an organization that, the core of their money making, and I'm going to say it because it's the truth, is trafficking. We have David Miscavige, who people in the inner circle have said he is a pedophile. And you have Tom Cruise, who people have said is a sadist, pedophile, rapist. And if we just look at the higher echelons of the entertainment industry with actors, it seems like unless you're a pedophile, unless you're trafficking, or unless you're partaking in the torture of children and doing the most unthinkable things, you won't make it. And a child actor had come out. His name was Ben Fellows. And he exposed Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise got him in the room and started raping him. And we were talking about a child. A child. And this child at the time, he's now an adult, had been raped by many actors and celebrities. And so, you know, when you look at the $1 billion this so-called organization is made, and you connect the dots with the trends and how things are going in Hollywood, for example, it sickens me that because I never had any intentions on joining, that it leads to very intense gang stalking with police involved that has metamorphosed into assaults. So, you know, this is something we really need to look at for what it is, because it's deep state corruption. And I understand on some levels it's needed, or maybe, you know, with terrorists. But I'm not even violent. I don't do drugs. I'm not a pedophile. I don't traffic. It seems like the biggest criminals in this world that do trafficking are the ones that really need the gang stalking to protect what they got. They have a tax exempt status. They have an army of people. So when I hear certain Scientologists say, oh, well, no, they're dropping like flies. Oh, no, they're not. When they had Hollywood Boulevard open, they were recruiting people like they were giving out free ice cream and Big Macs. I mean, people were really charmed by the fact that Tom Cruise is a member. I see right through the BS. You couldn't pay me to be a member. So anyways, the corruption has gotten so out of hand that we got the governor who had a pedophile symbol on his Twitter page, boy love, that someone else caught and took a screenshot of, and I had actually gotten a hold of that, saw that. And you know, you connect the dots. We have a problem with pedophilia. We have a very abusive organization that is not a religion, that is protecting its criminalistic best interests and money-making interests. And you got the governor backing them up. We got a big problem. And you know, when people say, oh, well, it's the governor or it's the mayor telling them not to do their job, and the police don't do their job, and people are getting assaulted, I don't care who tells the police don't do their job when people are being assaulted and victimized and almost kidnapped, like myself, and on disability for 6 months. Wrong is wrong. Corruption is corruption. So the question is, how much longer is Scientology going to get away with being one of the biggest criminalistic organizations that's trafficking, making its multi-billion-dollar trafficking? Because we know these people that are stalking me don't got much money. In their donations, their free time that they put in to the church, or I can't even call it a church, that they put in is ridiculous. There's no way donations. They have armies of people doing Fairgame. I have an interview with one of them I did while I was coming back from the doctor from my MRI from my assault I received on November 12th of 2019. And this is just a week and a half after they got me at a Burger King in Hollywood when I was coming back from Van Nuys. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that restaurant assault because there's some cover-ups with the evidence, and the video I have has been altered. And I'll get into that for that video. But with all that being said, the person that was at my window with my screen in his hand scared the hell out of me. I'd already been assaulted and stalked so much. Not only that, but they've been in my apartment. The maintenance man is in on it. He told me he's aware of Scientology, stalking, and I asked him when he was in my apartment. He's like, what they do is they don't like to say it verbally, but they'll be like, so he's aware of it. They've been in my apartment. I've had clothing destroyed. They'll take out the seams of your clothing. They'll rip your clothing. I have an exercise machine here I had just bought earlier in the year, and one of the bands is completely broken. They'll make tears. They'll make tears to where, you know, in your tennis shoes, little tears, so that when as you use them, the tears will just get bigger and expand and destroy what you have. As far as Fairgame is concerned, they have a lot of people. And the interview I had with that individual in Santa Monica when I was leaving the MRI facility, scanning facility, because my meniscus was shattered. You know, he tells me how much they get paid a day and how they get paid, and I knew that he was fair game. I knew he was Scientology, because these monsters, when you're out, it's like the area is infiltrated. If they know that you take public transportation at that time in your life, they have people at certain bus stops along that street, on the opposite side of the street and the street that you're on, just in case you change your mind. That's what they do. It's a lot to kind of lay out. You can't lay out everything like in one video when you're trying to talk about something else with the window getting broken into. But I just wanted to say that guy I talked to spilled the beans, and I knew he was Scientology. I knew he was doing fair game, because I was getting followed really bad, like a lot. I was on crutches, and the police just drove by. You know, I called the police and I tried talking to them in Santa Monica, and they tried playing that game with me. Oh no, that's not happening. Oh, are you sure you're okay? Let me just pull out the gang stalking manual, and let me just point out the police who are allowing this, who have been told it's allowed. And they also have certain officers that do cover-ups. And it also says Donald Trump is against deep state corruption, because there's, you know, they take it too far and they're doing it to the wrong people, with assaults and everything. So they're doing a lot of things that are breaking the law, even though former President Bush, G.W. Bush, signed on that, and Obama signed on that. And we all know Obama's the devil. So I don't know when I leave my house if my car is going to get wrecked into again. My car has been wrecked into again. The cops just drive by, they don't help you. I don't know what's going to happen to me. So anyways, back to the story. See, I get off track easy because there's so much to say, and I want to be thorough, but I don't want to get off track too much, because there's so much I can say on other videos. I don't have to try to lay it out here. But anyways, that guy who was trying to break into my window had followed me into town prior. So when I started leaving my house after that, when I was no longer on crutches, I tried taking photos of the people that were following me that lived in my building, that would leave when I would leave and come back when I would come back. No matter where I went, no matter what time I came back. And my landlord had been supporting what they're doing. I don't know for a fact if she's Scientologist or not. But whoever talked to her convinced her that they should be coming into my apartment when I'm not here, that I shouldn't be taking pictures of them. I wasn't even allowed to take pictures of the people who were, they would stand on the balcony out here on the second floor. When I would walk outside, they would go out to the balcony and kind of see where I'm going so they can report to whoever's out there in the field which way I'm going. And when I started taking photos of them, and some of them didn't even live here, and they just came into the building so they can, accomplish and complete their fair game. She told me I couldn't be taking photos of the building. I couldn't be taking photos of them. And I had tried explaining to her that not only had someone just attempted to break into my window, but I had already been socked trying to cross the street, going to Trader Joe's with these people sitting on the balcony, going out there when I go out there, or having certain people that are Scientologists leave the building when I leave the building. And she's like, I don't care, I don't want to hear it. So I just texted her and I said, listen, this is a violation of my civil and my human rights. If I feel I need to take photos, I'm going to take photos. And, if you think about it, if they're not stalking me, then they really don't have any reason to be worried about anyone taking their picture now, do they? And she had threatened to evict me. And when I wrote that, she gave me a 3-day notice. And I know my rights. I know that's harassment. And I know that, it's not right. I could basically get a lawyer. But the only problem is when you're a TI and everything you do gets infiltrated and sabotaged, it's very hard to keep your head above water, especially when you have the coronavirus, the government shut down. The only thing that doesn't shut down is Scientology. They stalk 24/7, okay, every day of the year. And then I was on crutches for 6 months. So, anyways, long story short, because of the pandemic, she wasn't able to evict me. And I admit, with everything that had been going on, I was a little bit in the rears. I'm a lot in the rears now. But the stalking hasn't stopped. The guy got away. I told my landlord who it was, and she didn't even care. Didn't care. So, what are you supposed to do? So I have the police report. Put it. This is one of them. I have a total 3. One for my window, one for getting hit as I cross the street. And then I have another for when I was trying to get to the grocery store on the bus. And then I have another one for the restaurant Burger King. And then the police department told me that they took the assault when I got the injury on November 2nd. So November 2nd was the Burger King of 2019. November 7th, I think it was, around there, when I was going to work, I got threatened by a guy. He was going to break my neck. He was part of the gang stalking, and they drop him off. As soon as they know your schedule, they'll drop people off. And as you have a routine, they start infiltrating you with more street theater. And this could be like a time when there's nobody ever happen to be walking in that part of the neighborhood. It could be a little corner of town where nobody really is, but as soon as you're there and they see a routine, they just flood that people with gang stalkers. Fair game. And the cops just roll on by like it's just a wonderful day. So I just wanted to, there's so many things that they have been doing lately. They've gotten more aggressive. So I just wanted to put on record and document that they tried breaking into my apartment on May 16th of 2020. I'll be talking about my next assault that happened as I was crossing the street. That was on July 1st. They've been kind of getting me almost every month. Almost. And in between that, there's stuff that goes on. I just don't have the energy or the resources to have, like, coverage on all this stuff all the time. So I was told by the police that any video of any assaults that they would go ahead and get, since I gave them the assault video on the bus. But once they got that video of the assault on the bus, that's that same video that Detective Brandsetter told me was deleted. Well, no, she told me I would have to call them, but it's probably deleted. But it was confirmed by Detective Lou that it was deleted, and there was no way I would get that video. Well, when I realized they were lying, and I got the video, and I ended up giving Sergeant Skyler the video. I had them send him a copy. After they got the copy, they never got the video to my assault on July 1st. Now, I wanted that video because it really shows how I'm coming from across the street, crossing the street, to getting bull rushed by someone I've never seen because I have my phone in my hand. So imagine being gang stalked, being stalked by tens of hundreds of people across town you never seen before. And we're talking people of all ages, all backgrounds. Everyone is recruited. It's like Hitler when he recruited children. If there's any Scientologists in your building, they participate. And this is a religion. This is tax exempt status worthy. Because Tom Cruise is part of the cult? Is this a joke? Have I just been in a nightmare and I haven't woken up yet? So, I'm going to end the video here. I know I've kind of gone off in different directions, but there's so much I've been through since November. And the worst, I haven't even told you the worst. I haven't even told you guys the worst. But the worst happened to me on January 14th of 2019 when I was delivering groceries for Instacart. I was trying to get a gig that paid me decent so I could pursue some artistic endeavors. But with the way the business is so vile, I'm completely turned off from anything having to do with the business. And so I'll get into that in a video. But I just wanted to end with saying that, the police are not... I had one police officer tell me that I need to get a lawyer. I have to pay a lawyer to get videos that I was told they were going to get, or they told me was deleted, but then they failed to get me the video, decided just to ignore my calls, or lied to me and said the videos have been deleted. I'm being told I have to get legal counsel. And when you're being obstructed, harassed, assaulted, stalked, when you leave the house, let alone when you go to a job, and then once you have that job, they either get jobs at your job, or they contact your job and they slander you. Now, when someone picks up the phone and, they're told it's a private investigator or this person's being investigated, people are not going to understand or even connect that this is such illegal activity. It's so corrupt what's going on. They're not going to think that's what it is. They're going to think it's completely legit. So it's very hard having a steady income. You can have a job that makes commission, and then you're working really hard. And then the harassment will start. And then they'll start doing things that your past employer did, like try to record you, and they just try to say things about you that are outrageous, and then find reasons not to pay you your commission, or just find reasons to just nitpick at you, whether it's your ethnicity or they think you're a certain ethnicity or whatever the case is. They just start coming at you. So not having a steady income, not being safe coming or going when I leave the house. When I do leave the house, not knowing what they're destroying when they break into my apartment. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't feel comfortable living here anymore. When you got people in your building who are partaking in this activity, who don't know better, who don't have a common sense, or weren't brought up with values or a core of an upbringing that teaches them wrong or right, or they don't have a connection with God. I mean, I didn't grow up in a perfect family by any means, but I know right from wrong. And I'm so blessed that because of my upbringing, but most especially because of this gang stalking that has infiltrated my life, I have a very close relationship with Jesus Christ. And I have a gift that sometimes I can see things that other people can't see. Or I know something that's going to happen that ends up happening. Or I can predict something that is happening that people can't see that's happening to somebody else. And with that, it's not all the time, but sometimes the universe, I guess I am somewhat psychic. I do have a gift, and I can't say I'm like Tyler Henry. I'm definitely not like Tyler Henry, but just sometimes the universe gives me information about certain things, and I have a responsibility to put it out there. And I won't get into specifics about other, I don't know if you want to call them miracles, or communications. But anyways, I'm going to end this video, and I hope I didn't talk too much and confuse you guys. I had to do a complete reset on my phone because even though I didn't have much on there, like it wouldn't let me record. It was acting really quirky. And another thing, you know, when you're being stalked by Scientology, not only will no cops help you, nobody, even when you do call lawyers, they don't want nothing to do with you. The media wants nothing to do with you because they're scared shitless, because Scientology is ran by the mob. Complete corruption, again, trafficking, gang stalking. If you're a religion, why would you need to gang stalk people? I mean, when you're trafficking and you're making that much money, what is it that you want to protect the most? The money. So they have people working for free. They have a tax exempt status. They're gang stalking the hell out of people. People are dying. People are suffering, and people, look at his wife. She vanished. These are people that, I'm telling you, in Los Angeles, people, when you say Scientology, nobody wants to talk to you. It's like the big bully. And they haven't even been gang stalked, as far as I'm concerned. Not like I have. And have lost basically everything. I've lost basically everything. Because what they did to me last year, they caused me to lose my car. That's a whole other story. And I have to get video evidence of what happened in that situation. I have to get a lawyer because they're not giving me the evidence. They don't want me to have it. So I really no means protecting myself. But everybody, you know, doesn't want to speak up. They don't want to stand up for what's right. They don't want to speak up about all the abuse of power. I guess, you know, if you're a pedophile and you're trafficking, and you can schmooze the police department, and you can schmooze Gavin Newsom, who's a pedophile, yeah, I'm saying it. When you go through what I go through, and you see what's going on, and trust me, I don't like knowing all this stuff. I wouldn't even know any of this stuff had they not started gang stalking me from the beginning. Because, you know, I always thought if I did do YouTube,